Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my Daily Dose with Tim. Today is season 3, episode 4. And I know that if you were actually on it the last few minutes, there was a bit of a technical challenges there and there was no audio. So I'm hoping that right now we're all good to go. And today, I wanted to take everyone through the 5 key ingredients for long-term financial success. Now, this is really just to piggyback and to build upon everything that we've touched on so far in season 1, 2, and the first few episodes of season 3 so far. And I understand that the phrase financial success is a very broad term, and it is meant to be a very broad term simply because of the fact that everybody defines success differently and also financial successes. And I'm going to share some examples that I've witnessed, including my own, with you over the last few years as well, because I remember once upon a time when I was working in a corporate job making 6 figures in my 20s, I thought that was the definition of financial success. However, very quickly I realized that even though I was making good income, I was spending good money and also putting money away into savings that was not keeping up with inflation, and all my investment portfolio also took a hit when global financial crisis hit the world pretty hard, especially in the North American investment markets where we don't have a lot of control over. And that's a separate discussion one day, because that's why I chose real estate investing and real estate as my asset class to build more income streams and long-term wealth. Now, coming back here though, over the last almost a decade long now since I've been traveling to teach and mentor students on financial education, what I've really noticed also is the fact that everybody's definition of success is a little different, especially when it comes to leveraging real estate. Why? I've had students, basically, they have big, grand goals that are bigger than mine. And that's totally okay, because I'm here as an educator. I'm already financially free, financially comfortable, and financially confident. There is no economic conditions that can rattle me at this point, and that is also my ultimate goal for everybody. And so you got to define what that means for yourself. And then there are also students that went, you know what, as long as I am able to retire properly, maybe even go on a couple more nicer vacations than I currently have, and with my family, to me, that is financial success. And the other thing is, just like a goal, sometimes goals are moving targets. And I think a lot of us may have heard of the saying that the top of every single peak is the valley of another mountain. And so the thing is, as we have more experiences, as we get older, and that's, I think I'm feeling that these days, as we get older, as we accumulate more life experiences, a lot of the times our goals do tend to shift and evolve as a result. And so that's the thing, because you get to define what financial success means to you and how it contributes to your personal value system. And so for those students that have bigger goals, in my opinion, than I do at this point in my career and my life, that's awesome. And it doesn't mean that they're any better or less. And same thing with the students that have smaller financial goals. If you want to boil it down to portfolio sizes, number of properties held, as well as monthly cash flow or overall wealth built, whatever the case may be. Okay. And so the easiest way to do this for a lot of us, how do we actually envision that goal? And that's just it. Many of us have heard of the phrase vision board or dream board. Now, this is why understanding what money is, how it was created, and how it works these days is so crucial, because money is an amazing tool. It's just made it so much more efficient for us people to be able to trade products and services with each other. And so with that said, simply you can start. If you've never done this exercise before, maybe you want to Google what a vision board is, what a dream board is. And I'm going to give you a very high level 10-second version. Is anything that you want for your life. That could be still experiences, actual materialistic goods, there is nothing wrong with that. Okay. I just want to make it very, very clear to many people, because a lot of times, just because me personally, I focus a lot more on experiences these days, it doesn't mean that having materialistic, aka status symbols to some people, is a negative thing. I don't believe that it is, because at the end of the day, you got to honor what actually drives you, what motivates you, and what keeps you inspired, so that whenever obstacles hit, you are strong enough mentally and emotionally to actually keep pushing through. And so for many of us, once again, it's quality time with our family, with our children, maybe traveling around the world for them, maybe being able to put them in the best schooling system, whether it's traditional schooling or extra curriculum, or this could be maybe vacation homes for yourself, having a beautiful house, nice mansions, or great vacations, whatever it may be. Go online, download pictures, print them out, put them on a board so you can see them, so you can visualize them. I really love the saying that everything is created twice. Everything is created twice. First, it's in your mind, and then you can make it a reality for yourself. And once you have that picture, this is actually how I mentor a lot of my students in the beginning when they're having troubles, is that they do this exercise. And so usually the following day or the following week, I'm going to get the screenshot on my phone from them, and it's going to have vacations, it's going to have houses, it's going to have maybe boats and nice cars, it's going to be vacations, fine dinings, and maybe designer dresses and purses and suits for guys and shoes, whatever it may be, or maybe just having a live-in help so that they can take care of their aging parents and their growing kids at the same time. And I asked them to put a dollar sign next to every item. I know for some of you, this sounds a little crass, and I know in the beginning I felt that way too, but then what I really found is the fact that, again, we're talking about financial education so that you can create the financial results, so that we need to learn how not to shy away from attaching a dollar value to the things that actually create true values to us, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, and physically, okay? And so having that goal in mind is very, very important. And after that, as we discussed in the previous episode, having a goal is great. However, the plans don't work themselves, okay? So you need to have a plan as a result. And sometimes maybe you need some help creating that plan. Get a coach, get a mentor, read some books, follow and listen to some podcasts. You need to have a plan. I think this is actually one of the biggest things that most people lack, is the fact that they don't know how to get started. I remember I didn't actually know how to get started, so I was following mainstream advice. I was putting away into RRSPs. My Canadians, you understand what that is. For those of you who are not in Canada, because I know that I do have audiences worldwide watching Daily Dose. So RRSP is what we called a registered retirement savings plan. And so that's money that you put aside, and most of us would actually choose to go into mutual funds. Sometimes you might go into bonds, sometimes you might just go into a straight up GIC or savings account. Those can all qualify into a registered retirement savings plan. At the same time, though, that plan has proven to fail many of us. Not even able to begin naming the statistics at this point. Perhaps that's just one of the episodes where we can dig into that in terms of how that particular plan is not serving any of us, nor creating a good retirement plan for most Canadians or wherever you are. So having that plan, by definition, within the plan, at the very least, you need to have strategies included. Okay, strategies. And I know some of you might argue these two things seem very, very similar. However, the main difference, in my opinion, is that within the plan, it takes a lot more things into consideration. So things like understanding your own level of risk tolerance, first of all. Second of all, perhaps your current access to resources. So your resourcefulness. So many people, they stop themselves in the tracks before even wanting or attempting to do anything different or new, because they're telling themselves that they don't have the resources to do what they want to do. And I remember this was one of the things that, love my parents. However, this is one of the first things that they asked me. And one of the reasons they used to hopefully stop me from pursuing becoming an educated real estate investor. And that was, you're young. Who's gonna give you money? And you're young right now. You might make a good income, but you don't have enough money saved up yet. And real estate is an expensive asset class to go into. And so that is just it. So resources are not as important as being resourceful. And so some of those things need to definitely get taken into account. And the biggest part about having a plan is it needs to align with your own timeline. Because once again, I have had the pleasure to train and mentor people between the ages of 17 all the way to, I believe, 63, 64 has been my most life experience students, or AKA from an age perspective, a little bit older. So as you can see, because of the age spectrum and that range, everybody's plan is going to be fundamentally different. And this is why I keep saying that it is never one size fits all. It is never, ever one size fits all. And so having that plan, having a deadline that aligns with your personal situation, super important. And then we now boil it down to having strategies to back it up. And so we're going to go into discussing strategies in the episodes to come. However, again, when it comes to leveraging real estate investing as the main vehicle, there are so many different strategies other than just buy and hold. Buy and hold, in my opinion, is just a fancier version of buy, rent, and pray. Now, having strategies is not enough in the long term because, again, we're here to become investors so that we can make money work harder for us over time. Well, I mean, from the beginning, however, over time, as you get good at it, as you get better and better educated and accumulate more experiences, you're going to have to come up with, and this is something that you'll fine tune over time. However, if you don't have it, this is where trainings and educations and coaching and mentoring come in, which is having systems and processes. Systems and processes. I know my Canadians, you want to say processes, and even though I'm a Canadian now, it's not the way I pronounce it. I don't know why, it just sounds really weird to me. However, the point is, you need systems and processes so that you can start to free yourself away from the day-to-day tasks so that you can create the time freedom for yourself, and as a result, the mental freedom so that you can start to pursue passion projects. And this is why, again, I keep emphasizing what we stand for ultimately is financial education. The asset class that we choose is real estate. And because real estate, in comparison to most other asset classes out there, is slower moving. However, this is also why it has a bit more mass appeal, in my opinion, when you learn how to leverage real estate as an asset class and you do it right. Because that's the thing, when you do it right, you can make a lot of money. And when you don't know what you're doing, you can lose a lot of money very quickly. Now, this is also what separates the property collectors from the educated investors. And this is really funny because one of my students brought a little article to me earlier this morning, and it was somebody voicing their opinion about passive income, and they're saying there's no such thing as passive income. First of all, I would definitely share the fact that there is such a thing as passive income, and that's my opinion, because I am pretty sure that in every single developed country, the tax authorities would argue with the fact that there is passive income because they have tax codes for them. Now, obviously, that's a bit of a cheeky response to that. At the same time, though, Passive simply means that you put in the work and now on an ongoing basis, you are not actively. Remember yesterday, income buckets, active income, passive income. It simply means that you are not actively engaged in making the money work for you. It doesn't mean that you completely free yourself away from it. As I keep mentioning, these days, I still need to spend time, and I still want to spend time to look after my portfolios because, again, properties are like people. The older we get, the slower and less we perform. And that's just the hard truth. And so what that means from a financial perspective is that I really don't believe in the super long-term buy and hold, to be completely frank with you. And so again, this might be something that generational wealth people will do. That's not where I came from. So that could change as well for me. I just want to share with you at this particular moment in time, that is definitely not my approach, because my approach right now is that I want to make sure that my money is working at its hardest at every turn. And so I believe in trading properties still when the property is not performing well and I'm able to take out the equity and put it into a better performing deal, simply because of the fact that, again, educated and professional investors, we focus on performance over anything else. And so from a passive income perspective, you can have passive income when you have enough systems and processes figured out, and more importantly, scale, 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 scale. And I understand that this person that put out the article, he's what I would typically qualify as a property collector. However, he's not the only person, because over the last 10 years now, I've actually seen so many people. And to be completely frank, this is probably has been ongoing for a long, long time now. It's just that clearly I've become a lot more aware of what some of the schools of thoughts or opinions that have been put out there, because I'm in the industry to help people elevate their financial education. Now, it is very, very dangerous for property collectors to simply share their school of hard knock experiences without ever being properly trained. And this is why I always say, you know what, I will be forever biased about having mentors and trainers and coaches guiding me. And this is why the last ingredient, first and foremost, is having mentors. You will not come across a single successful entrepreneurs and business people, all the big names out there today that we know, people that are on Shark Tank, people that are on Dragon's Den, people like Jeff Bezos, like Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey, anybody else. You can always find them sharing a talk, being interviewed, and stressing the importance of education and having mentors guiding them every step of the way. And so here's the thing. Mentors are people that have accomplished what you want to do, and they continuously involve themselves in the art, in the craft that they're designing and passing down. And this is why myself, I'm still active as a real estate investor amongst investing in other asset classes at this point. Because once again, to simply pass down your experiences, and may I add, most of the times experiences can sound negative and pessimistic, because most of us, if we don't have the proper mindset, it can become very toxic to other people. Where really mentorship comes in my opinion, is the combination of information that gets distilled, and then it becomes education format. Education becomes true knowledge when you add in the experiences on a personal level or collective level, and then you get to apply it when you actually share those experiences and knowledge. And I'll give you another example here, and this is the way I look at it. For example, many of you that are watching, I'm going to assume that you have a driver's license. You can be driving for a few months, a few days, a few weeks, all the way to maybe a few decades now in your life. At the same time, though, I'm going to promise you that the moment we put a driving instructor, a driving coach, or a driving examiner in the same car with you, within the first 10 to 30 seconds, they're likely going to be able to point out a number of things that you are doing that's unsafe to you. And those behaviors come from your mindset and what you choose to believe in, or better yet, or worse yet, actually, in this case, the bad habits that you have developed and not corrected over time. And the other way to look at this is if you have followed any of those reality TV shows like So You Think You Can Dance or The Voice, American Idol, any sort of Got Talent shows, and I'm just going to say singers and dancers. Sometimes you see extremely talented people that have figured out their way to really let their art and practice and hard work over the years shine through. And yet you will always get the panel of judges being able to provide constructive criticism. And most of the times, I'll take an example for So You Think You Can Dance. A lot of the dancers, they may have the natural talent and they've actually put in the time and the work and they've been performing, making a decent living out of it. At the same time, though, the most common suggestion and advice that I hear from the panel of judges to these kind of dancers and performers would be, if we just properly train you, you will be unstoppable. And that's where I find a lot of parallels in real estate investing as well. I do see this as a skill, and as a skill, like every other skill, we have to continue to cultivate, grow it. No different than if you're a doctor, if you're a surgeon, if you're an accountant, if you're a lawyer. All these high-paying professionals are required to continuously invest in their own development and education so that they can bring them their best selves forward into every situation. In their case, every patient, every appointment. In our situation, most of the times, is into every single deal. And so 5 key ingredients right here. Here you have it. And so with that said, I want to thank you again for joining me today. And I'm also going to post the Eventbrite link in the comment section as well, because thank you for all your messages and your supports, your likes and comments and shares, because I know this is actually getting streamed onto more platforms than Facebook at this point. And I know that many of you have questions. I also have been getting emails already too. So I will definitely address a lot of your questions. And I just really want to build some foundation here, because mindset, it is so important when it comes to viewing money. And through Trust Your Talent Academy, we have a lot of online live and live events coming up across Canada right now. And so make sure you check out the Eventbrite page and get yourself registered for the sessions that are applicable to you. And more importantly, if you want to join me and my team in Edmonton next weekend, May 20th and 21st, we are actually doing a 2-day strategic real estate investing fundamental course. And it's what we call a live workshop. I'm going to be sharing a lot of different strategies with you, both hard strategies and soft strategies. You're going to get a lot of bonuses, scholarship opportunities, and I've designed a couple of games so that it helps you retain your knowledge, so that when you're ready to embark on your mentorship and actually start doing deals on your own, you are going to become unstoppable in that situation. And so I look forward to seeing you again back here for the next episode. In the meantime, go check out the Eventbrite link. Have a great day, everybody. Live well.